The arrival of the Empire. In the vastness of space, an imposing ship emerged from hyperspace, its dark hull reflecting distant stars. On board, Lord Theron stood at the helm, his hands clasped behind his back. The ship's bridge was filled with officers in sharp uniforms adorned with medals of conquest. As they approached Earth, Theron's thin lips curled into a confident smile. "Look at this primitive world," he said to his crew, gesturing at the blue planet displayed on the main screen. "They haven't even colonized their own moon properly." Unbeknownst to him, deep within Earth's Rocky Mountains lay a military facility unlike any other. Admiral Gregory observed the alien ship's arrival from a secure command center. Unlike the visible satellites that the Empire had detected, Earth's true defenses remained hidden from prying eyes. "They've taken the bait," Admiral Gregory remarked to his command staff. "They can only see what we want them to see." He straightened his uniform and adjusted a golden eagle pin on his collar, a symbol of humanity's resilience. As expected, the Galactic Empire sent an initial message demanding immediate surrender and integration into their realm. They broadcast it openly using simple radio waves, clearly expecting Earth to be awed by their advanced technology. Admiral Gregory chuckled softly. Humanity had been intercepting and analyzing Imperial communications for decades. They knew everything about the Empire's tactics and weaknesses. "Send our response," he ordered. "Keep it simple, make them think we're just learning to reach the stars." Earth's public message was transmitted using basic radio waves. "Greetings, visitors. We are honored by your arrival and request time to discuss terms of peaceful contact." Back on Lord Theron's ship, laughter erupted among his officers. "They don't even have faster-than-light communications," one officer exclaimed. "This will be easier than conquering Proxima b." But as Imperial ships moved closer to Earth, they failed to notice the quantum distortions around them. Humanity's hidden sensors tracked every movement while their scanners displayed only what Earth wanted them to see, a primitive civilization taking its first steps into space. "They're entering our outer defense grid range," a tactical officer reported nervously. "Reading 5 Imperial cruisers and 3 destroyer-class vessels." "Let them get closer," Admiral Gregory replied calmly. "Let them think they have the advantage." The Imperial fleet advanced with absolute confidence, their formation perfect according to military doctrine honed through countless conquests across galaxies. Their sensors detected nothing but simple satellites and a few outdated defense platforms. "My lord," an Imperial officer called out urgently. "The humans are launching vessels to defend their world." He pointed at small ships rising from Earth, deliberately old technology that humanity had preserved for this very moment. "Swat them aside," Lord Theron commanded dismissively. "Show them the power of the Empire." The first shot was fired by an Imperial cruiser, a plasma beam that obliterated one of Earth's decoy ships. They expected panic and chaos, but instead found resolute defiance. "Execute Perkis Protocol," Admiral Gregory ordered with a steely resolve. Suddenly, the space around the Imperial fleet erupted with activity as quantum-linked defense platforms became visible, previously undetectable by Imperial sensors. Advanced human warships emerged from stealth fields, transforming what were thought to be simple targets into formidable threats. Lord Theron's confident demeanor vanished as alarms blared throughout his ship. "Impossible," he shouted as tactical displays erupted with warnings about incoming fire from weapons he had deemed impossible. The last thing he saw before communications were cut off was his perfect formation crumbling under relentless attacks from humanity's hidden arsenal. The first battle for Earth's freedom lasted less than 15 minutes. When it was over, Admiral Gregory sent a new message to the Empire using their own communication channels. "You sought to conquer what you thought was a primitive world. Instead, you've awakened a giant. Remember this day, it marks the beginning of the end of your empire." News of the failed attack reached the Imperial capital within days. In the Grand Council chamber, military leaders argued about what had gone wrong while Emperor Zarek sat on his golden throne, his face dark with rage. Impossible. General Marcus slammed his fist on a marble table. No primitive species could defeat our best ships. There must be some mistake. The Emperor raised his hand for silence and demanded they show him battle recordings again. As holographic displays flickered to life, revealing footage of their attack fleet's destruction, they scrutinized every detail for clues about how such a defeat could occur. Meanwhile on Earth, Commander Lila stood in Strategic Command Center preparing humanity's forces for what would come next. Huge screens displayed positions of Earth's defense fleet alongside movements of Imperial ships across the galaxy. "They're gathering a massive fleet," she warned her officers gravely. Just as we predicted, the Empire never learns from its mistakes. A cluster of red dots blinked ominously on her display screen, 50 capital ships, 200 cruisers, and countless smaller vessels forming what they called the Fleet of Imperial Justice. Admiral Gregory had anticipated this move. He knew that overwhelming force was always their answer to everything. "We will not underestimate them again," he told his crew firmly as they prepared for what was sure to be an even fiercer confrontation than before. As tensions mounted in both camps, one thing became clear: humanity had proven its capability in battle, but would it be enough against an empire that underestimated its resolve? The stage was set for an epic clash between two worlds, one fighting for survival and another seeking domination without realizing that they had awakened a force far beyond their comprehension. A new dawn. As dawn broke over Earth's horizon, the first rays of sunlight illuminated the Rocky Mountains that housed Project Sentinel, humanity's most advanced military facility. Here, deep within the Earth, a team of dedicated scientists and military strategists worked tirelessly to prepare for the looming threat posed by the Galactic Empire. The air was thick with anticipation and urgency as Admiral Reynolds stood before a massive holographic display that showcased the solar system, with Earth at its center. "Today marks a pivotal moment in our history," Admiral Reynolds began, addressing his command staff. Among them were Commander Lila, a tactical genius known for her quick thinking, and Technician Sam, whose expertise in technology had been invaluable in recent months. "We've demonstrated our capabilities in battle, now we must solidify our defenses and plan our next move." The gathering storm. Commander Lila leaned forward, her brow furrowed with concern. "Sir, we've intercepted communications indicating that the Empire is mobilizing their largest fleet yet. They believe they can crush us with sheer numbers." Her voice was steady but laced with urgency. Admiral Reynolds nodded gravely. "We must be ready for anything. They think we are just a primitive civilization. Little do they know about Project Sentinel and our hidden technologies." Technician Sam chimed in, excitement bubbling beneath his calm demeanor. "Our quantum web is operational. We've deployed thousands of tiny satellites throughout the solar system. They'll redirect energy weapons back at their source if attacked." A wave of relief washed over Admiral Reynolds as he heard this news. The quantum web would be a game-changer, a defensive network capable of turning the Empire's own weapons against them. Preparing for battle. As preparations intensified within Project Sentinel, training exercises became more rigorous. Soldiers practiced their maneuvers while technicians fine-tuned the systems that would protect Earth from the impending invasion. The atmosphere buzzed with determination as everyone understood what was at stake. "Let's not forget," Commander Lila reminded her team during one of their strategy sessions, "the Empire has never faced an enemy like us before. We have to use every advantage we have." Days turned into weeks as time slipped away unnoticed amidst endless drills focused on improving coordination among various branches responsible for defending Earth. Admiral Reynolds remained vigilant throughout each passing day, his leadership inspiring confidence among troops who knew that victory depended not only on advanced technologies but also on unity forged through shared purpose. The calm before the storm. As night fell across the facility, shadows danced along the walls while screens flickered with data streams and tactical maps. The camaraderie among team members grew stronger as they shared stories and laughter to ease the tension that hung in the air. "Remember," Admiral Reynolds said during one evening briefing, "we're not just fighting for ourselves, we're fighting for every person on this planet who has ever looked up at the stars and dreamed of something greater." His words resonated deeply within each individual present. They understood that this was more than just a battle, it was a fight for their very existence against an empire that sought to dominate everything in its path. The Empire's approach. Meanwhile, on board an Imperial flagship commanded by Admiral Parker, the atmosphere was starkly different. The bridge buzzed with anxious energy as officers monitored incoming reports about Earth's defenses. "Prepare to engage," Admiral Parker ordered confidently, believing that their overwhelming numbers would ensure victory over what he perceived as a primitive civilization. "We will not underestimate them again." The Imperial fleet, comprising 50 capital ships and 200 cruisers, was en route to Earth under the banner of Imperial Justice. Parker's confidence stemmed from years of unchallenged dominance across galaxies. He could not fathom that Earth had been preparing for this very moment. A moment of reckoning. As the Imperial fleet approached Earth's orbit, Admiral Reynolds received word about their imminent arrival. His heart raced as he reviewed tactical maps once more, ensuring every detail was accounted for. "Activate all defense systems," he commanded firmly. "Let them see what we're truly capable of." The tension aboard both fleets grew palpable as they prepared for what would be a monumental confrontation, one that would determine not only Earth's fate but also challenge the very notion of Imperial supremacy throughout the galaxy. The first strike. The moment finally arrived when Admiral Parker ordered his fleet to unleash a barrage of energy beams toward Earth, a display meant to intimidate and overwhelm any opposition. For a brief moment, it seemed as if Earth would be engulfed in chaos. But then something extraordinary happened. As each energy beam struck Earth's atmosphere, they were met by an invisible barrier created by the quantum web. Each beam redirected back toward its source with devastating precision. "What is happening?" Admiral Parker shouted in disbelief as his ships began to explode one after another under their own firepower. On Earth, Commander Lila watched in awe as their plan unfolded perfectly before her eyes. "They underestimated us," she whispered, her heart swelling with pride at humanity's ingenuity. Turning the tide. With renewed vigor, Admiral Reynolds gave the order to deploy Earth's attack ships from behind the moon where they had been hiding. Sleek human vessels emerged from stealth mode, smaller yet far more advanced than their Imperial counterparts. "Let's show them how wrong they are about size and numbers," Commander Lila declared confidently as they moved into formation. The human ships darted through gaps in the Imperial formation with incredible speed and precision, striking vital points identified through years of intelligence gathering. Each shot counted, every maneuver had purpose. Admiral Parker struggled to regain control over his forces as chaos erupted among his fleet, his rigid battle plans crumbling under pressure from an enemy he had dismissed too easily. A hard lesson learned. "Retreat," he finally ordered, but it was too late. Only a fraction of his fleet managed to escape back to safety while Earth celebrated its unexpected victory. Back on Earth, Commander Lila sent another message to the Empire using their own communication channels. "Your weapons are powerful, but power means nothing without wisdom to guide it." The Empire had made a grave mistake by underestimating humanity's resolve and ingenuity. As news of their defeat spread throughout Imperial ranks, fear began to take root, a fear that perhaps this time they had awakened something far more formidable than they could ever imagine. Conclusion: a new era begins. In Project Sentinel's command center, Admiral Reynolds stood surrounded by his team, each face reflecting determination and hope for what lay ahead. They knew they had proven themselves against an empire that believed itself invincible. But this was only the beginning. Humanity had shown its strength but still needed to prepare for whatever retaliation might come next from an empire unwilling to accept defeat easily. As they gathered around the holographic map once more, now filled with red dots representing Imperial movements, Admiral Reynolds felt a renewed sense of purpose wash over him. "We will not rest until we ensure our freedom," he vowed passionately before his team. "This is our home, and we will protect it at all costs." With hearts united in purpose and minds sharpened by experience gained through adversity, the stage was set for humanity's next bold move against an empire that had dared to challenge them. A new strategy. As the dust settled from the previous battle, Earth's forces found themselves in a rare moment of calm. The victory had been significant, but Admiral Reynolds knew that the Galactic Empire would not take defeat lightly. They would regroup and retaliate with a vengeance. In the heart of Project Sentinel, plans were drawn up for a new offensive strategy. "Commander Lila," Admiral Reynolds began, his voice steady but urgent. "We need to take the fight to them. We can't allow them to regain their footing after this defeat." Lila nodded, her mind racing with possibilities. "We should utilize our stealth technology to launch a surprise attack on their supply lines. If we can disrupt their resources, we can weaken their ability to wage war against us." Reynolds agreed. "Let's gather our best pilots and prepare for Operation Nightfall. We'll hit them where it hurts most." Assembling the fleet. In the days that followed, Earth's fleet was mobilized with incredible speed. Captain Thomas, a skilled pilot known for his strategic mind and bravery, was chosen to lead the mission. He gathered his crew aboard the stealth warship Nightshade, ready to execute their plan. "Listen up, everyone," Thomas said as he addressed his crew in the ship's briefing room. "We're going into enemy territory to strike at their supply bases. Our goal is to create chaos and confusion among their ranks. We need to be swift and precise." His crew responded with nods of determination, understanding the gravity of their mission. They were not just fighting for survival, they were fighting for the future of humanity. The launch. As night fell over Earth, the Nightshade and its accompanying fleet slipped into the darkness of space. With their dark drive systems activated, they became nearly invisible to Imperial sensors. The stars twinkled around them as they moved silently through the void. Coordinates set for the first target, Technician Sam reported from his station, his fingers flying over the controls. "We'll arrive in approximately 10 minutes. Captain Thomas felt a surge of adrenaline as they approached their destination, a major Imperial supply base located on the outskirts of their territory. He glanced at his crew, each face illuminated by the soft glow of their screens. "Prepare for silent approach," he ordered. "We strike hard and fast." The element of surprise. As they neared the supply base, Thomas could see Imperial ships patrolling lazily around it, unaware of the impending attack. He signaled for his fleet to hold position while he assessed the situation. "Remember," he reminded his crew, "we're ghosts in this fight. They won't know what hit them until it's too late." With a deep breath, he gave the command to engage. The Nightshade shot forward, its weapon systems locking onto key targets within the supply base, fuel tanks and ammunition depots that would cripple Imperial operations if destroyed. Explosions erupted as they fired upon their targets with pinpoint accuracy. The Imperial ships reacted too slowly, confusion spread like wildfire among their ranks as they scrambled to respond to an enemy they could not see. Chaos unleashed. "What's happening?" Commander Wells shouted from his command center aboard one of the Imperial ships as explosions rocked the supply base. "They're attacking from nowhere," an officer replied frantically, trying to make sense of the chaos unfolding before them. Meanwhile, Captain Thomas watched with satisfaction as his crew executed their orders flawlessly. "Target those fuel storage facilities next," he commanded, pointing at another cluster of tanks on his tactical display. The human ships darted in and out of visibility, striking quickly before disappearing again into the shadows of space. Each explosion sent shockwaves through Imperial command as they struggled to regain control over their operations. A major blow. Back on Earth, Admiral Reynolds monitored the situation from Project Sentinel's command center. He could see live feeds from their stealth ships attacking with precision and grace. "Keep it up," he encouraged through gritted teeth as he watched more Imperial ships succumb to chaos. This is our moment. As explosions continued to light up space around the supply base, Thomas ordered one last strike on a major communications hub that connected several Imperial fleets across sectors. This is it, he said decisively. If we take this out, we'll cut off their ability to coordinate effectively. The Nightshade surged forward once more, its weapons blazing as it targeted critical systems within the hub. The explosions lit up space like fireworks on a summer night, each blast a reminder that humanity was no longer an easy target. Regrouping. After successfully executing Operation Nightfall and inflicting significant damage on Imperial supply lines, Captain Thomas ordered his fleet to retreat back into stealth mode. They had achieved what they set out to do, disrupting enemy operations while maintaining their own safety. As they made their way back toward Earth, Thomas couldn't help but feel a sense of pride swell within him. They had struck fear into the hearts of an empire that had underestimated them time and time again. Prepare for debriefing upon arrival, he instructed his crew as they navigated back through familiar stars toward home. The Empire's response. Back in Imperial command centers across the galaxy, panic reigned supreme as reports flooded in about what had just transpired. Commander Wells paced angrily in front of his officers. How could we let this happen? He demanded, frustration boiling over. We had every advantage. His officers exchanged glances filled with concern. They knew that this was only one attack among many that could follow if humanity continued to adapt and innovate at such an alarming rate. We need to regroup and reassess our strategies, one officer suggested tentatively. They've shown us that they're more than just primitive beings, they're capable fighters. A turning point. In Project Sentinel's command center back on Earth, Admiral Reynolds received news about Operation Nightfall's success with elation but also with caution. This is just one battle won, he reminded his team solemnly as cheers erupted around him. We must remain vigilant, there will be more attacks from them. Commander Lila nodded in agreement while looking at tactical displays showing new movements from Imperial fleets gathering strength once more, preparing for retaliation against humanity's bold strikes. We've proven ourselves today, she said confidently but with an edge of seriousness in her tone. Now we must prepare for whatever comes next. Admiral Reynolds looked at her intently before responding, Indeed we will, we've awakened a giant within ourselves, and now it's time for us to show them what humanity is truly capable of. With renewed determination coursing through every individual present, the stage was set for an epic confrontation between two worlds, one fighting for survival against overwhelming odds while another sought dominance without realizing that they had awakened something far beyond comprehension. A new threat. In the aftermath of their devastating defeat, the Galactic Empire was reeling. News of their losses spread like wildfire through the ranks, igniting fear and anger among military leaders. The Emperor, seated on his golden throne, listened intently as General Reed reported the latest intelligence. Your Majesty, Reed began, his voice tense. We've lost 2 major supply bases and a communications hub in a matter of days. The humans have proven they can strike at our heart without warning. The Emperor's expression darkened. This cannot stand. We must crush this rebellion before it spreads further. Mobilize the entire fleet, show them the true might of the Empire. Preparing for war. As the Imperial forces scrambled to regroup, Admiral Parker was appointed to lead the new offensive. He stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Resolute, with a grim determination etched on his face. Prepare for war, he commanded. We will not underestimate these humans again. They think they can hide in the shadows, but we will hunt them down. His officers nodded in agreement, their faces reflecting a mix of fear and resolve. They had seen what humanity was capable of and knew that this time, they needed to be ready for anything. Earth's vigilance. Back on Earth, Admiral Reynolds and Commander Lila gathered their team in the command center of Project Sentinel. They had received reports about the Imperial fleet's mobilization and knew that another confrontation was imminent. "We need to stay one step ahead," Reynolds said firmly. "They will come at us with everything they have. We must prepare our defenses and find a way to counter their next move." Lila nodded thoughtfully. "We should enhance our stealth capabilities and deploy additional quantum web satellites around key locations. If they think they can overwhelm us with brute force, we'll show them that strategy and technology are our greatest allies." Strengthening defenses. In the following days, Earth scientists worked around the clock to bolster their defenses. New stealth ships were constructed, equipped with advanced weaponry designed specifically to exploit Imperial weaknesses. Meanwhile, technicians deployed more quantum web satellites across the solar system. Each satellite will act as an early warning system, Technician Sam explained during a briefing. "If any Imperial ships approach, we'll know about it long before they reach our borders." Admiral Reynolds felt a surge of confidence as he observed the preparations unfold. "We've come too far to back down now," he said passionately. "We will defend our home with everything we have." The Imperial fleet approaches. As Earth fortified its defenses, Admiral Parker's fleet approached their target, Earth itself. The massive armada consisted of 50 capital ships and hundreds of smaller vessels, an overwhelming display of power meant to intimidate and crush any resistance. "Prepare for entry into Earth's orbit," Parker commanded as they dropped out of hyperspace. His eyes narrowed as he surveyed the blue planet before him. "Sir, sensors indicate no significant defenses in place," an officer reported hesitantly. Parker smirked, confidence radiating from him. "They think they can hide from us? Let them believe they are safe, it will make their defeat all the more satisfying." The first strike. As Parker's fleet entered Earth's orbit, he ordered an immediate bombardment of key cities and military installations. Energy beams rained down from above, striking buildings and infrastructure with devastating force. "Show them no mercy," Parker shouted as explosions lit up the sky. Back on Earth, alarms blared throughout Project Sentinel as technicians scrambled to assess the damage caused by the initial strikes. "Sir, we're taking heavy damage," one technician shouted as screens flickered with reports of destruction across multiple cities. Admiral Reynolds clenched his fists in frustration but quickly regained his composure. "Activate all defense systems. We cannot let them gain any ground. The battle begins." The quantum web sprang into action as Earth's defense systems activated in response to the Imperial assault. Each energy beam fired by the Empire was redirected back toward its source, causing chaos among Parker's fleet. "Impossible!" Parker yelled in disbelief as explosions erupted around him from his own weapon's fire. "What kind of sorcery is this?" Commander Lila watched from Project Sentinel's command center with a mix of pride and determination as their plan unfolded perfectly before her eyes. "Keep firing," she ordered her crew. "We need to hold them off until we can launch our counterattack." A counteroffensive. With their defenses holding strong against the initial assault, Admiral Reynolds prepared to launch a counteroffensive against Parker's fleet. "Send out our stealth ships," he commanded urgently. "We need to hit them hard while they're disoriented." Captain Thomas took charge of the Nightshade once more, leading a squadron of stealth warships into battle against the Imperial fleet. "We'll strike at their command ships first," he instructed his crew as they moved into position behind Earth's moon for cover. As they emerged from stealth mode, Thomas felt a rush of adrenaline course through him. "Let's show them what humanity is capable of." Striking back. The human ships darted through space like phantoms, targeting key vessels within Parker's fleet with precision strikes that left devastation in their wake. "Target their command ships," Thomas ordered as energy beams erupted from the Nightshade, tearing through Imperial hulls with ease. Parker struggled to regain control over his forces amid the chaos unfolding around him. His rigid battle plans crumbled under pressure as human ships appeared and disappeared at will, striking from impossible angles. "Retreat! Retreat!" he finally shouted in desperation as panic spread among his crew. A hard-fought victory. As Parker's fleet began to scatter under pressure from humanity's relentless assault, Admiral Reynolds felt a surge of triumph wash over him. "We've done it," he exclaimed as cheers erupted throughout Project Sentinel's command center. "We've shown them that we will not be defeated." But even amidst victory celebrations, Reynolds knew that this was only one battle in a much larger war, one that would require vigilance and unity among all factions on Earth to ensure lasting peace against an empire that had underestimated them time and time again. Conclusion: the fight continues. In the aftermath of this fierce confrontation, both sides were left reeling from losses sustained during battle, yet neither could afford to rest easy knowing that more conflicts lay ahead. As Admiral Reynolds gathered his team once more for strategic planning sessions focused on future engagements against an empire unwilling to accept defeat easily, the stage was set for an epic clash between two worlds fighting for survival amidst uncertainty looming just beyond sight. With hearts united in purpose and minds sharpened by experience gained through adversity, the fight was far from over. Humanity had proven its strength but still needed preparation for whatever retaliation might come next from an empire unwilling to back down, the calm before the storm. As the remnants of the Imperial fleet retreated into the depths of space, Earth's forces took a moment to breathe. The victory had been hard-fought, but they knew that the Empire would not rest. Admiral Reynolds gathered his top commanders in the war room, their faces illuminated by the soft glow of holographic displays. "We've shown them what we're capable of," Reynolds began, his voice steady. "But we must remain vigilant. They will come back stronger, and we need to be ready." Commander Lila nodded, her mind racing with strategies. "We need to take the fight to them. If we can disrupt their supply lines and communications, we can weaken their resolve." "Agreed," Captain Thomas said, leaning forward. "We've proven our stealth capabilities with Operation Lighthouse. Now it's time for Operation Nightfall, an offensive strike against their main supply routes." Planning the offensive. The atmosphere in the war room shifted as plans for Operation Nightfall took shape. Maps of the galaxy flickered to life on the screens, highlighting key Imperial supply routes and bases. The commanders discussed their strategy in detail, identifying targets that would cripple the Empire's ability to wage war. "Each strike must be precise," Reynolds emphasized. "We can't afford collateral damage, we need to send a message that we are not to be trifled with." Lila outlined their approach. "We'll deploy a fleet of stealth ships equipped with advanced weaponry designed specifically to exploit Imperial weaknesses. Our goal is to hit hard and fast, then disappear before they can retaliate." Assembling the fleet. As preparations began, Earth's fleet was mobilized once more. Captain Thomas was chosen to lead this crucial mission aboard the Nightshade, Earth's most advanced stealth warship. "Let's make sure our dark drive systems are fully operational," Thomas instructed his crew as they prepared for launch. "We need to be invisible to their sensors until we strike." The crew worked diligently, checking every system and ensuring that their weapons were primed for action. As the Nightshade slipped into the darkness of space, Thomas felt a mix of excitement and determination. "Remember," he reminded his crew, "this is not just about defeating an enemy, it's about securing our future." The first target. With coordinates set for their first target, a major Imperial supply base on the outskirts of their territory, Thomas led his fleet through the void of space. The stars twinkled around them as they approached their destination. "Prepare for silent approach," he ordered, his voice calm but firm. "We strike quickly and efficiently." As they neared the supply base, Thomas could see Imperial ships patrolling lazily around it, unaware of the impending attack. He signaled for his fleet to hold position while he assessed the situation. "Let's wait for them to let their guard down," he suggested. "Then we'll move in. The attack begins." When the moment was right, Thomas gave the command to engage. The human ships surged forward, emerging from stealth mode with weapons blazing. Explosions erupted as they targeted key facilities within the supply base, fuel tanks and ammunition depots that would cripple Imperial operations. "Target those fuel storage facilities," Thomas shouted as energy beams sliced through Imperial defenses with precision. The surprise attack sent shockwaves through the Imperial command center. Commander Wells, stationed at the supply base, scrambled to respond as alarms blared around him. "What is happening?" he shouted, panic rising in his voice. "Where are they attacking from?" Chaos unleashed. Imperial ships fired blindly into space, hoping to hit an enemy they could not see. The chaos intensified as human ships darted in and out of visibility, striking with deadly accuracy before disappearing again into the shadows. On the Nightshade, Thomas watched with satisfaction as his crew executed their orders flawlessly. "Keep moving. We need to stay unpredictable." As explosions rocked the supply base, Commander Wells realized too late that his forces were outmatched. "Retreat. Get us out of here," he ordered desperately. But it was too late. The Nightshade and its accompanying fleet had already inflicted significant damage on Imperial operations, hitting their communications. With their first target destroyed and chaos reigning among Imperial forces, Thomas set his sights on a second objective, a major communications hub critical for coordinating Imperial fleets across sectors. "We need to cut them off from Central Command," he instructed his crew as they approached the hub's location. As they neared their target, Thomas felt a surge of adrenaline coursing through him. "Prepare for another strike. Let's show them that nowhere in their empire is safe." The human ships emerged from stealth mode once more, firing upon the communications hub with devastating force. Explosions lit up space as Imperial defenders scrambled to respond. A devastating blow. The attack on the communications hub was swift and brutal. Human ships appeared just long enough to fire their weapons before vanishing again into darkness. "What are they doing?" an Imperial officer shouted in confusion as their own ships began firing at each other in a frenzy of panic. Back on the Nightshade, Thomas watched with grim satisfaction as chaos unfolded among Imperial ranks. They had struck hard at two vital targets in quick succession, sending a clear message that humanity would not back down. Regrouping after success. After successfully executing Operation Nightfall and inflicting significant damage on Imperial supply lines and communications, Captain Thomas ordered his fleet to retreat back into stealth mode. "Let's regroup and assess our next move," he commanded as they navigated back toward Earth. As they made their way home, Thomas felt a sense of pride swell within him. They had shown the Empire that humanity was not only capable of defending itself but also striking back when provoked. A message sent. Back on Earth, Admiral Reynolds received news about Operation Nightfall's success with elation but also caution. They had struck a significant blow against an empire that believed itself invincible. "This is just one battle won," he reminded his team solemnly as cheers erupted around him. "We must remain vigilant. There will be more attacks from them." In a show of strength and defiance, Reynolds sent another message to the Empire using their own communication channels. "You came expecting easy conquest. Instead, you've awakened a force you cannot control." Conclusion: a new era dawns. With each victory against the Empire, humanity grew stronger and more united in purpose. They had proven themselves capable fighters who would not be easily subdued by an empire that underestimated them time and time again. As Captain Thomas stood on the Nightshade's bridge overlooking Earth from space, he felt a renewed sense of hope for what lay ahead, a future where humanity could thrive free from oppression. "We will continue this fight until our home is safe," he vowed quietly to himself as stars twinkled brightly around him, each one a reminder that they were not alone in this battle against tyranny. With hearts united in purpose and minds sharpened by experience gained through adversity, the stage was set for humanity's next bold move against an empire unwilling to accept defeat easily.